Don Carlo is right. Don Carlo is right. Taking everything into account, there is only one player that deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. And he's Brazilian. And he's dark skin. So your boy Don Carlo was on the Obi-Wan podcast, obviously with Obi Mikel. This is also what he said. That's what your boy said. Carlo Ancelotti, Vinicius Jr. will win the Ballon d'Or, in my opinion. Ooh. Carvajal also did really well. He won La Liga, Champions League, and scored in the final and won the Euros. But Vinicius, talented player, young, good image, won La Liga, won the Champions League, scoring in the final and semi-final. He scored two in Munich. Jude had a fantastic season, winning the Champions League, winning the league, and it was a big surprise. The best player of the league of the season. Rodrigo also is a fantastic midfielder, one of the best midfielders in the competition and consistent. But, Carlo is right and he says Vini is that dude. And I agree with him. You see, this debate's been going back and forth, and I want to just, try to encapsulate it. But let's go back to before the summer tournaments. For the summer tournaments, there's no doubt Vinicius was the front runner. At the end of that UCL final, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Vinicius Jr. was the best player in the world. And he was the front runner for the Ballon d'Or. At no point was Rodri's name mentioned. There were two front runners, Vini and Jude, based on what they did in La Liga and what they did in the UCL. Rodri was not even in the conversation. So at the end of the UCL final, there were only two names, Vini and Jude. Rodri was never even in the conversation. And let's be real, Vini was superb. Jude did his thing, but Jude was really exceptional and outstanding in the first half of the season. I think he had a bit of an injury, I think a shoulder injury. This was up, but Vini, but once Vini came back from his injury, he was outstanding. He was superb in La Liga, absolutely incredible. And the UCL, he was superb. And as Carlo said, when it really mattered, that's what I'm about. Shout out in the group quarters. When it came to the semi-final, when it came to the game against Man City, when it came to the final as well, he came up clutch in Bayern Munich, scoring 2 goals in Munich in the UCL semi, scored in the UCL final, and also he was the guy that gave the assist to Rodrigo to score in Manchester against Man City, the defending champions. So he was that freaking dude. He was that freaking dude. But this is where the issue now arises because, so that was at the end of the UCL final. But then what happened was this. He had a horrible Copa America. Only one game against Paraguay who were horrible. So because of this, guys are like, oh my gosh, this now opens the Pandora's box. But this opens the Pandora's box specifically to Jude. So with Vini not doing well, the only other name you could go to were two names. No. There's only one other name. It was Jude. You see, this is what people need to understand here. So Vini had a horrible Copa America. And based on how bad his Copa America was, I believe the only person that could have taken that Ballon d'Or off of him was Jude Bellingham. If Jude Bellingham had a great performance at the Euros, even if Jude Bellingham was one of the best players at the Euros, he wins the Ballon d'Or, 100%. If Jude had a great Euros, and even if England lost the final, but Jude Bellingham had a great Euros, was one of the best players at the Euros, 1,000%, he would have won the Ballon d'Or. 100%. But he didn't. He didn't. Now, here's what people just need to accept. Here's what people need to just accept here. If there was a chance for Rodri to win the Ballon d'Or, 100% it was the treble winning year. Rodri was superb, amazing, in the league, in the FA Cup, in the UCL, and he scored the winning goal in the UCL final. 100% he should have won. The only reason Rodri did not win the Ballon d'Or, World Cup. The World Cup. And what people have to understand is the World Cup weighs heavy. That is the heaviest trophy. It weighs heavier than the AFCON. Asia Cup, Copa America, and Euros. It is football's greatest prize. And we saw that in '06. Cannavaro was trash for Juve in that '05-06 season. He got dunked on by Henry and Arsenal. So he was useless in that '05-06 season. He was the best player, or one of the best players in the '06 World Cup, and he won the Ballon d'Or. That is how heavy the World Cup weighs. So for Rodri, it's just unfortunate. If Rodri had that season and it wasn't in a World Cup year, he wins the Ballon d'Or, 100%. And nobody could argue against it. 100% he would have won the Ballon d'Or. And I'm sure that's because I don't think he even finished second. I don't think he was even in the top three. So that was when he should have won it. He would have deserved it. But for this year, let's keep it real. Rodri was amazing for City, and he was a big reason they won the league, and big reason for that 4 in a row, based on his consistency and his contribution to the team. So 100%, they didn't win the UCL. They didn't win the UCL. Now, I don't know if this is true, but someone told me that he got dunked on by a teenager called Menu in an FA Cup final. Now, I don't know whether that's true. Someone in the comment below, try and tell me whether that's true. I think that's a lie, because I don't think that's true. But someone told me that he got dunked on by a teenager still doing his GCSEs in an FA Cup final. I don't know if that's true. But he said, "What's up with the league?" Oh, you didn't win the UCL, and you lost to Real Madrid in that UCL. So that UCL thing is out of it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Rodri was very good for Spain at the Euros. He was very good. He was really good, quality. And arguments can be made. There were 4 players better than him in his own team. I don't care whether he was given we all watched Spain play, who were very much the best team. Yamal was better than him. Nico Williams was better than him. Olmo was better than him. In his own area of the pitch. In his own area of the pitch, because people can say, "Oh, come on, but those are attackers. Attackers look much better because those are the goal scorers." Fine. Spain's best midfielder was Fabian Ruiz at the Euros. Again, it doesn't who cares? Because it's the same thing with 2014 when they gave the best player award to Messi. We all know that, no, Lam was better than Messi. Neuer was better than Messi. James Rodriguez was better than Messi in that 2014 World Cup. And you could even argue Neymar was better than Messi in that 2014 World Cup for the few games he played. So it doesn't matter who they give the award to. We, the football fans, we can see. So who cares if they give the award to Rodri for best player of the tournament? Ruiz was better than him, playing in the same position. And we can actually make another argument. Shout out to your boy Carlo. Carvajal has a better case than Rodri. Carvajal won La Liga with Real Madrid. He won the UCL with Real Madrid. Oh, and he scored the first go-ahead goal to make it 1-0. Oh, and he was named man of the match in that UCL final. And he also won the Euros with Spain, being just as good or just as consistent as Rodri. So surely Carvajal has a better case because he actually won more trophies, one being the huge trophy in a UCL, scoring in a UCL final. So if Rodri's been put up there, why hasn't Carvajal been put up there? So why are we valuing Rodri's contributions to City over Carvajal's contributions for Real Madrid? And what makes it even crazier as well is Rodri, in the most important match of the Euros, got taken off. I think he was injured. Fine, he got taken off. So you got taken off in the final. Your replacement Zubimendi comes into your position and does the same, if not a better job than you. Because Zubimendi was a lot more athletic, a lot more forward, and I was like, no, they didn't miss a step. So the idea of like, oh my gosh, man, if you take away Rodri, Spain are going to suffer. Spain did not miss a step, and if anything, they looked better with Zubimendi on it. Because Zubimendi just looks a lot more mobile and a lot more dynamic than Rodri was. And he actually added more to the midfield and made Spain a lot more dangerous in possession. So the Rodri arguments, it's it's weak. When you look in detail, it's weak. Like he had a good year, but I think what harms Rodri's case is no UCL won, and there were four players better than you on the same team as you in Spain at the Euros. You can't give the Ballon d'Or to a player who didn't win the UCL, and at the Euros he won, there were four players on his team that were better than him. That would be insane. Because this is what people have to understand. The Ballon d'Or is about this is the best player of the year. Just this is the best player. So when you look back and say, okay, yeah, that's for this year, this is the best player. So that's the question we have to ask ourselves. That's okay. As of right now, who was the best player last year? Taking everything into account, who was the best player last year? Like when Benzema won it, there was no doubt. So then you could say, oh, Karim Benzema for that period was the best player in the world. Let's be real. If Vini was to win the Ballon d'Or, would anybody have any arguments as to, yeah, Vini is the best player in the world? Because I think the issue is we thought, and this is the key thing, and this is the kicker here. All the front runners did not perform at this summer tournaments. Messi underperformed, Vini underperformed, Mbappe underperformed, Bellingham underperformed. They all underperformed. And the fact is, this is not a World Cup year. You see, if you just go crazy at a World Cup, you can win the Ballon d'Or based on just how heavy the World Cup is. But the Euros and Copa America doesn't come with that World Cup tax. That benefited Messi, who bricked it for PSG but said what's about the World Cup, and it benefited Cannavaro, who bricked it for Juventus in the Liga and the UCL but said what's up in the World Cup. That is why it's called the World Cup tax. You can break it the domestic season, you say what's up in the World Cup, you can say what's up. So for Vini, why it's strong for his case is the front runners, Mbappe, Bellingham, people want to say Messi, underperformed. Rodri was never in the picture. And so even if you put Rodri in the picture, who was never in the picture at the end of the UCL final, he wasn't the best player on his team. So forget about one of the best players at the Euros. He wasn't even the best player on his own team. There were four players that were better than him on his team. So when you take everything into account, there were no true individuals who truly shone that were really in the front running for the Ballon d'Or. So we revert back to what happened after the UCL final, which is Vini wins. Because what did we all say? Euros and Copa America, it was disappointing. And why were they disappointing? The football quality was low, and we didn't really see any individuals shine. Remember how we talked about Neymar at the 2014 World Cup. Remember how we talked about James Rodriguez. I remember one of my favorite tournaments, Euro 2000, and how incredible Figo was, because that was why I was such a fan of Figo, was based on what Figo did at that Euro 2000 and what Zidane did at Euro 2000. But the issue is that we didn't see any individual players. So this summer tournament did not move the needle with regards to who should be given the Ballon d'Or. So if it didn't move the needle, we revert back to after the UCL final, which is that, Vini should win. And if Vini wins the Ballon d'Or, will anyone have any arguments? People will say, but he picked it for Brazil. But if Vini has that Ballon d'Or, will anyone say that he doesn't deserve it? Will anyone say that, no, Vini is not the best player in the world? If people say Vini has won a Ballon d'Or, he was the best player in the world, no one have any arguments. I'm sorry, and I want to be respectful here. If Rodri wins the Ballon d'Or, are we accepting that Rodri was the best player in the world for that last season? That's the question you have to ask yourselves. So if Rodri wins the Ballon d'Or, are we as a football community going to say, yes, Rodri was the best player in the world for last season? Because if that happens, if I'm Danny Carvalho, I'm like, huh? If I'm Vini, huh? If I'm Jude, huh? If I'm Lautaro Martinez, because I've said, Lautaro Martinez should finish higher than Rodri. Lautaro Martinez was the best player in Serie, finished top scorer, led into a Serie win, was top scorer in Copa America, and scored the winning goal in the final in Copa America. So Lautaro Martinez has a much greater case than your boy Rodri. So this is the reality here. So yeah, for me, I feel Vini deserves to win. He deserves to get the dub, but we'll see what happens because the fact that they falsely gave Rodri best player of the tournament, there might be some PR pushing him to say what's up. So this is where that Madrid PR needs to now go into overdrive, and Florentino needs to make some payments to ensure Vini wins the Ballon d'Or, which, given how the season ended up, he 100% deserves it.